Hey there, Irene. I was just curious if you were still working or if you had already finished for the night.
Oh, hey, Mom. Yes, I finished work. What's up? Is everything okay?
Does something have to be wrong just for a mother to want to talk to her daughter? I was just going to ask how you've been and if you're doing well. You know, you really should be trying just a little harder to reach out to me.
Well, yes, I am doing well. Thank you for asking. And I'm not sure what you meant by that since we were messaging last week.
Well, I am talking about phone calls. Just sending your mom a text now and then doesn't count, you know. So are you available to talk to me on the phone right now?
I'm sorry, Mom, but I'm on the bus back home right now. But I'll be more than happy to call you once I'm back home. Do you think you can wait about an hour?
You really think that I can stay up until 9 at night for you? That's my bedtime, I'll have you know.
Oh, I see. Well then, I guess it just means we'll have to make this call work a different time then, huh?
It appears that way, yes, but how's your husband Jim and my little grandbaby Max? Are they doing well?
Yeah, they're doing all right. But I think we've all just been quite busy recently. Although I guess it's since Jim is a freelancer, he is probably grateful to have so much more work right now.
Oh, that's right. Well, I just hope that you two are at least getting the rest that you need as well as taking care of yourselves. But I really do want to see you as soon as possible. When are we all going to be able to get back together again?
Well, you know that we already have plans to go over and stay with you around the New Year's, right?
New Year's? Oh, but that's so far away. You know, we're having your grandfather's memorial service in a few months. Don't you think you could make it for that?
You mean the memorial service to make 7 years since he passed away? I thought you said I didn't have to go to that, so I wasn't really planning on being there.
Did I really say that to you?
Yeah, we were talking about how far away the drive would be and how difficult it would be to fit into our schedule. You said that you didn't want me spending all that money and going all that way just to be there for such a short time. Not to mention the fact that I remember you mentioning about how there are already so many people who are going to be coming over, and we might not even have a place to stay with you.
Well, yes, that is true. And your grandmother is already plenty worried about having so many people around the house, but I really would like it if you made more of an effort to visit us down there. I mean, you can't just put off seeing your family until the end of the year, you know.
Well, I'm sorry, Mom, but you live really far away, and it isn't cheap to do all that traveling. Besides, you also make visiting home feel so tense sometimes.
Just because I ask you to have some manners when you're in my house doesn't mean I'm making things tense.
I'm just not really sure why you want us there so badly, though. I mean, Jack got married to his wife, and now they're both living there with you and Grandma, right?
Oh, yes, but you don't need to be worried about them. Besides, Jack is your little brother and his wife is part of the family now. Don't you know that we all miss seeing you?
Well, it sounds to me like there'll just be more tension and having to walk on eggshells over there. I mean, I've seen the way you work Jack's wife, Anne. And I'm sure that if I visited home that you'd put me to work and wouldn't let me rest at all either.
Oh, but what are you complaining about? Don't you know that it's a woman's job to keep the house clean and take care of her family?
I mean, sure, that might have been all that we did in the 50s or something, but you really can't be treating people like that anymore.
You have no idea what you're talking about. I treat everyone just fine and no one has ever had any problems with me.
You know, I really don't think most people would agree with that. You're always trying to rush people and make them feel like they have to finish what they're doing and move on to the next thing.
Well, sometimes there are things that need to be done, and I'm not going to apologize for wanting efficiency. Besides, have you seen Anne? She's like a whale, and I'm only trying to thin her up a bit.
Okay, Mom, now you really are just being rude about all of this. What does that have to do with anything?
Come on, do you really think that someone that fat should be a part of our family? She needs to at least try and move.
I really don't think that we should be trying to control the bodies of our family, Mom. And I think that's a really rude thing to care so much about.
And what is so rude about my wanting to make sure that my daughter-in-law doesn't die in 5 years from heart failure, huh? And don't you know how embarrassing it is to have her be at family reunions? Everyone is also talking behind her back about how we let her into our family.
Again, I really don't think Anne needs to do anything at all to conform to what other people say about her body. Besides, if Jack loves her, that should be enough. Not only that, but I really don't think that anyone from our family talks about her behind her back. If anything, she seems to get along with everyone.
Oh, you have no idea how much I can't stand people like her. I mean, if she can't even take care of herself, then how is she supposed to take care of a family? She really is just a pig.
Mom, please stop saying things like that. It's really rude and uncalled for. I think Anne is a lovely and kind person, and I really like her. And you haven't said one word about her personality, or how she makes Jack feel, or anything like that. You've only been talking about her appearance.
Well, that's because that's all that everyone sees when we have to go out in public with her. But I bet half the people who see her are wondering if she's going to keel over at some point. You realize that I'm only saying all of this because of how worried I am for Anne, don't you? How is she supposed to have any kids in her shape?
Mom, you seriously need to stop. I mean it. And don't you dare ever say any of this to Anne, you understand me?
Just what has gotten into you, Irene? What is this all about?
I mean that you do not get to put Anne down because you're worried about her having kids. That is a choice between her and Jack to make. And if for whatever reason they choose not to have kids or are unable to, then you just have to accept that.
And why should I have to accept that? Why can't you see that I really am just concerned for Anne's well-being here?
Because, Mom, a lot of people will attribute so many health problems someone might have just to them being fat. But life isn't that simple, and you don't know what kind of underlying conditions that she might also have. So since you don't know Anne's medical history, maybe you should just butt out of her business.
I don't get why you don't want me to talk to her about this, though. I mean, how am I supposed to know about her medical background if I don't ask her?
You just don't ask her, Mom. It really is that simple. So just please try and keep your comments about her to yourself, okay? Hey, Mom. I was just curious about how the memorial service for Grandpa went. You did do it yesterday, right?
Oh, it really was just lovely. I invited more people than usual this year, thinking that not all of them would show up. But it was a huge turnout, and there were so many people there to remember your grandpa. I suppose in the end, it's probably best that you didn't come. I mean, we ended up having to offer to split hotel room costs for some guests since we just couldn't house them all.
Oh, wow. Well, it sounds to me like you got a really big crowd to turn up yesterday then.
I'll say I think we had over 30 people there in total.
30 people? Well, I guess now I understand why your house was overflowing.
It really was quite a sight. I mean, I just feel like I haven't seen that many friends and family in one place in a while, so it was great.
I'm glad to hear it. I bet the last time we even had that many people together was probably Jack and Anne's wedding, huh? I bet Grandma was stressing out with so many people in the house. But she's also the kind of person that enjoys it even if she'd never say it.
I think we all had a good time, and I saw your grandma smiling and talking all day. Not only that, but we even set up the grill outside, and some of the kids had some fireworks to set off.
Oh man. Well, now I really do wish that I could have made it over to see all of that.
Yeah, it really would have been nice if you could have made it. Everyone was asking about where you were.
Well, I do wish that I could have gone now. But did you take any pictures of it? I'd love to see some if you have.
Oh yes, I have a few pictures from yesterday that I can send you if you like.
Yeah, that would be great. Please send me those photos that you took of the service yesterday.
Sure thing. So, I'll go ahead and send those pictures over to you right now.
Thank you, Mom. Glad you had a good time. Hey, Anne. How's it going? It's been a while since I last shot you a message, but I hope you had a good time at the memorial service the other day.
Oh, hey there, Irene. Thanks for reaching out. It's so good to hear from you. I was actually wondering if you were going to be at the service, but you never showed up.
I know, but we just live so far away, and it's really tough to travel all the way out here. But my mom did send me some of the photos of the event. She even sent me a photo of you, and I have to say, I was pretty shocked. I mean, it looks like you've lost a lot of weight since I last saw you. Are you on some kind of new diet or something like that?
Not really a diet, but since I'm the daughter-in-law living at home, I can only have one meal a day, as you know.
Wait, what? Is there some kind of rule that says you can only eat once a day?
Well, I mean, I was told that I was eating too much and was too fat, so I was made to cut back.
Hold on a second. Who said that to you? Did someone from my family tell you that?
Yeah, your mom and brother both told me the same thing.
I don't believe it. How could they say something like that to you? It's just horrible. I'm sorry you had to deal with that, Anne.
I mean, I got pretty used to them calling me fatty every single day. In fact, that's basically just how they started referring to me after a while. But it's okay. I've been called much worse in my life, so it's not the end of the world.
Anne, you know that you shouldn't have to put up with that, right? I'm so sorry that my family has treated you that way.
Oh, come on. I know that you probably feel the same exact way about me, right? You're so stylish and good-looking. There's no way you don't look down on me.
Anne, what are you saying? Of course I don't feel that way at all.
Well, I know that at our wedding you told me a bunch of times how cute and pretty you thought I looked. But I know that on the inside you were just insulting me too, right?
Anne, I'm so sorry that you think that's the case, but it really isn't. I promise that I've never once looked down on you. But I'm not surprised at all that my mother and brother would act in such a horrible way towards you. How could they think it's okay to treat someone like that, though? I've never once cared about how you look.
Do you really mean that, Irene?
Of course I mean that. And I really am so sorry that those two have been putting you through all this.
So then, you really never cared at all about how I used to look? Even though your mom and brother made fun of me for it all the time?
I want you to know that I don't think like them at all. They just see a larger person and automatically assume that every health issue they might have is because of their weight. But I told my mom to keep her opinions on that to herself for all the good it did.
Oh, I see. Well, I really had no idea that you felt differently about this.
Well, what I want to know is how you've been getting along with just one meal a day. I mean, sure, you've lost weight, but that can't be healthy, right? Are you okay?
I really don't know anymore. Your mom was saying that she was applying this rule for my own good. But most days, I just feel like I could pass out at any moment, and I haven't even had a period in the past 3 months.
Oh my gosh. And your poor body must be going through so much. There's nothing good about losing weight if it's going to cost you your health.
Yeah, but your mom is always saying that if I want to be pretty and healthy, then I have to keep losing weight. But I think it's just doing the opposite. My skin has been looking deflated and saggy, and even my hair is starting to fall out in the shower. I feel like I've aged 10 years since I've started this.
Well, I'm sure that my mom is just so sure of herself that she's right about this. But it shouldn't be happening. This is so horrible. I don't know what else to say.
Well, do you think that maybe you could try talking to your mom or brother about this for me? Because I really don't know how much longer I can hold out like this. And anytime I try and say anything, I just get ignored and told this is for my own good, but it doesn't feel good at all.
Yes, of course I can speak to them. Those two are out of their minds if they think it's okay to treat someone like this.
I really am sorry asking you to do this for me. I know that this isn't your problem.
It's my problem if my family are treating others this way. But if they won't listen to you, then maybe they'll listen to me.
Thank you so much for understanding, Irene. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Mom, are you there? I was wondering if you had a moment to text real quick.
Oh, this is perfect timing. I actually just finished what I was doing, and Anne and Jack have gone out somewhere together. I think they both have off of work today or something like that, so they must be going out on a date or something like that.
Actually, the two of them are both right here with me.
Wait, what? You mean that Anne and Jack are both there with you right now? I don't understand. Are you coming to visit me?
That's right. I'm finally coming home to visit.
And just why are you doing that? I mean, you should have told me you were going to do this sooner. And why are you just with those two and not me too? That's not fair. What are the three of you even doing together, huh?
Well, if you really must know, we're all at the hospital right now.
You're at the hospital? I don't understand. What are you doing there? Is everyone okay? Did you get sick on the plane ride over here or something?
No, and I'm not the one being looked at the hospital right now. It's Anne who's being examined.
Wait a second. Don't tell me that she's finally pregnant. I knew it. I knew if she just lost a bit of weight that she could have children. I knew it. I was right all along.
No, Mom. Anne isn't pregnant, and the doctors are saying that there's no way she's going to be able to in her state. Did you know that Anne hasn't even had a period in 3 months?
Wait, what? But I don't get it. How can she not have kids after all the weight that she's lost? It doesn't make sense.
It's because all this rapid weight loss isn't good for her, Mom. The doctor was just explaining that to us. The doctor said that forcing someone to eat like this is basically the same as physical abuse for what it does to the body. And I made sure to explain to the doctor that you were the one insisting on this.
Hold on a second, that doctor really just called my diet abuse? How in the world is helping some fatty slim down abuse? Besides, she's my daughter-in-law and I know what's best for her.
You don't know what you're talking about at all, Mom. And Anne was just fine the way she was. The doctor says she was much healthier than she is now anyways. Don't you know that these kinds of extreme diets are really harmful to the body? Don't you know the negative effects they can have? How could you force someone to live that way you were making Anne live?
Okay, now you're just being ridiculous. The most weight you lose, the healthier you are. It's simple science. I think that you probably just have one of those sensitive doctors that are too scared to call a patient fat to their face. Your whole generation is so sensitive these days.
Mom, you literally have no idea what you're talking about. Losing weight is not always a healthy thing to do. And the doctor has called what you've been forcing Anne to go through abuse. So how about you look in a mirror before throwing around accusations? Not only that, but you need to apologize to Anne for the horrible way you've been treating her.
What are you talking about? I was doing all of this for Anne's sake to begin with. I didn't even do anything wrong.
I don't care if you thought you were doing right by her. The fact of the matter is you've been forcing Anne into an unhealthy lifestyle.
Well, I'm not going to apologize. I don't have anything to apologize for, and I won't be pressured into doing so by a bunch of sensitive children.
Are you sure you don't want to consider that just a little more, Mom?
I am telling you that I didn't do anything wrong, and if Anne's body needs some time to adjust to its new form, then that's fine. Because once she gets used to it, she'll thank me for how skinny and pretty I've made her.
Mom, we are talking about health, biological health. I don't care about what you think a beautiful person looks like.
And I'm telling you that lots of people would look much better in this world if they went on a diet, so I still don't think I've done anything wrong.
Even though the doctor has evidence that this diet has been horrible for Anne's health, do you really only care about what number shows up on the scale?
You don't understand. Having to take that pig out in public led to so many stares and whispers and people laughing at us. I didn't just do it for her. I did it for the good of our family's reputation.
I seriously can't even talk to you like this right now. But if you're not going to apologize or even reflect on your actions, then you're leaving me no choice.
What is that supposed to mean? What do you think you can do to me?
Well, first of all, I'm going to rescue Anne from your house and put her up somewhere else for a while. She isn't going to spend another minute in your house.
Hey, what the heck is this about, huh? Why is there some lawyer standing in front of my door?
Well, I told you that I was going to take action over this, didn't I? I hope you didn't think I was joking.
Just tell me where Anne is. I've tried calling her number over and over again, but she isn't picking up. If the two of you have a problem with me, then why don't you say it to my face instead of cowering behind some lawyer?
Mom, Anne never wants to see you again after the trauma that you've put her through. Her poor health is all your fault. Do you realize that? Besides, I said that I'd protect her from you, so why would we come and talk to you? Both the doctor and the lawyer agreed that it was best if you kept far, far away from us.
But is she really going to be suing Jack and I over this? She's really going to try and make us pay for this? How could she do this to us?
What part of abuse don't you understand? You know that's a crime, right? You said all kinds of horrible things to Anne, and basically were starving her. That's plenty hurtful.
But, I mean, she didn't have to go and hire a lawyer. That's taking things way too far. Please, let me have a chat with her. Can you at least tell me where you are?
No, that would defeat the whole purpose of keeping distance between us. If you have anything to say to me, you can speak to the lawyer.
I don't believe this. You're my daughter and you're really going to stab me in the back like this? You're horrible. How could you do this to your own mother?
I'm sorry, Mom, but the fact of the matter is that you did this to yourself. And I'm not going to stand by and let you and Jack hurt Anne any longer. Neither of us are ever going to forgive you for what you've done, and I'm going to make sure Anne never has to go back to that house again.
And you're really fine just letting that little ingrate sue your brother too?
Oh, please. Anne is way too good for Jack. They're getting a divorce, and you both are going to pay for what you've done to her.
How am I supposed to live if you sue me? I'm not going to be able to make it with just my pension.
Well, you still have the house and everything in it, don't you? Sounds to me like you might have to find some local pawn shops.
So you're really fine ruining your mother for the rest of her life?
I'm fine forcing you to pay compensation for something bad that you did, if that's what you mean.
Don't you realize what you're doing to me? You're a horrible, selfish daughter.
Say all you want, but just know that I'm handing over everything to the lawyer, so you can either talk to him or keep insulting Anne and I. The choice is yours, but either way, I'm going to be ignoring your messages. See you in court, Mom. After that, Anne did follow through with her promise to sue my mom and brother, and she won. They both were fined a large amount of money, and my mom had to sell the house just to afford it. Then, Anne and Jack got their divorce, and Anne was finally free. I heard that Jack and my mom ended up moving into a tiny little apartment together. Since they also had to take out hefty loans to afford the legal fees, they had no choice but to downsize in order to keep up on the payments. I told the rest of my family about all the horrible things they put Anne through, and now nobody talks to those two. Of course, that's not how I wanted things to end up, but I saw Anne suffering and couldn't just sit back. I'm glad that I helped Anne and her, and I still talk frequently. She's recovering and is beginning to look like her old, happy, healthy self again.
Hey, Mom, are you there? I just wanted to say thank you again for dinner. Julie and I really enjoyed it. She said your cooking was even better than eating out.
Aw, well, I'm just so happy that the two of you enjoyed my cooking so much. Although, was Julia okay? She didn't seem to eat that much, and I was wondering if she was a little nervous.
No, it's nothing like that at all, Mom. She just has a really small appetite.
Oh, I see. Well, I guess that explains why she's so thin then. Honestly, sometimes I just get a little worried when I see her.
Yeah, I guess we could both stand to gain a little weight, but this is the way that Julia likes to be, so I don't really question it.
Well, as long as she is happy and healthy, that really is the most important thing. Although, I still am just so surprised. How did my son end up with such a lovely woman? And to be marrying her, no less. I still don't get it.
Hey, come on now, that's not fair. Is it really so hard to believe?
Well, I just mean that. I just think it's interesting because Julia seems to put a lot of care and thought into herself. But you, on the other hand, well, it's just an interesting pairing, I guess. I just have to wonder how good of a pair you two are.
Mom, come on, now you're just being rude. You don't have to say that kind of stuff to me, you know?
Oh, I'm sorry, son. I'm just saying that you better make sure you take care of her so no one else snatches her up. After all, you know what they say, right? A happy wife is a happy life.
Well, great, thanks, Mom. I really appreciate all the confidence that you have in me. But of course I'm going to take care of Julie and make sure that she's happy.
Well, as long as you try your best, that's all anyone can ask for. I was just wondering why you hadn't said something like that to me before. Were you too embarrassed to say that?
Of course not. But you're cornering me with the way that you're talking to me about this, and you basically made me say it.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that you would if you were pressed to. Also, I wanted to say this earlier, but when I first saw Julia, I could swear that I knew her from somewhere.
Oh, really?
Well, that's the thing. I just can't remember right now. But it had to be from somewhere.
Or something like that, right?
No. I don't think it had anything to do with work. I'm sure I'd remember if we worked together at some point.
Are you saying that you remember every single person who's ever worked in your office years ago?
Well, it's not really even that large of a staff, you know? Besides, I am the company president, so you would hope that I know my employees well. Wait a second. I think I got it. Years ago, I think I saw her walking next to you somewhere in town. I was just driving by when I saw you, but I was curious about who the other person was.
Well, in that case, I don't think it was Julia. It sounds like my last girlfriend who I was with about 5 years ago.
Was it really that long when you were dating her? Well, in that case, I wonder where I've seen Julia before. I feel like she would be kind of hard to confuse for someone else.
But it is still possible, you know? I feel like as I've gotten older, younger people have started all to look the same. Maybe it's just something that happens as you get older.
Excuse you, son, but I am not losing my ability to distinguish faces.
Yeah, sure thing, Mom. Whatever you say.
It's just when I saw her, I could have sworn that it was from somewhere else.
You're not thinking of that one woman in that commercial, are you? Because she does have a similar energy to Julia. You know the one I'm talking about, right? The ad for that brand of coffee that you drink?
Oh, right. Actually, now that you mention it, the woman and Julia do really look alike.
Well, then maybe that's why you felt like you had already seen her somewhere.
Is that really why? I'm just not sure now.
Well, unlike you, I'm pretty confident in my memory, and I don't know where else you would have seen Julia.
You might be right about this, but that's still no way to talk to your mother, young man. I may be getting old, but that doesn't mean my memory is failing me.
Fair enough, but I'm sure that I'm right about this. Either way, it sounds to me like you approve of her. Am I reading that right? Does she get the pass from you?
Of course I do. I think she's a lovely girl, and I'm so happy that I finally got to meet your fiancé. And I'm just so happy that my little boy is finally going to get married.
I know, it's hard for me to believe as well, but trust me when I say that I will take care of Julia, okay? Also, you should know that Julia really liked you too and said that she was looking forward to getting to know you better. Maybe one day you two could go out for lunch or do some shopping or something like that.
Well, I am glad that she said those things about me, but I'm not about to buy that at face value. After all, what woman wouldn't want to get along with her mother-in-law? And besides, I don't want to get too involved in your private lives, so I'll be able to maintain a respectable amount of distance.
Wait, what? No, Mom, she literally said she wants to be your friend. Especially since Julia lost her own mother when she was really little. I think she wants to be able to think of you as a kind of mother figure.
You really think that's how she feels about me? I really don't know about that. I mean, I would just hate to come off as overbearing or nosy or something like that.
Of course, and I'm sure she would love it if you invited her out now and then. Besides, it wouldn't be you being nosy, it would be you being there to get to know your son's wife better, right? I mean, I don't really have interest in shopping or anything like that, but I'm sure that you could think of something fun for the two of you to do together.
You really think she wouldn't mind if I invited her out now and then? I mean, I would love to, but again, I would just hate to be that kind of mother-in-law. You know what I mean?
Of course not. I just said that she would really love it, right? Didn't I? Oh, by the way, do you mind if I share your number with Julia? I think she wants to thank you for today as well.
Oh yes, that's fine. I don't mind at all.
Okay, great. I'll go ahead and do that. And please do reach out to her and figure out something for the two of you to do soon, okay? Thanks, Mom.
Irene, are you there? I just wanted to say thank you so much for the lovely party yesterday. It was so much fun. Of course, but I am so sorry to have brought you to an event full of people that only I knew. And I'm sure that you were so bored since everyone there was at least as old as I am. Not at all. I really enjoyed the conversations I had, and I even feel like I learned a lot. I mean, everyone there that led such rich lives, and it was getting great to hear about some of them. So again, thank you so much for thinking of inviting me. I really did enjoy myself. Well, I'm sure it didn't hurt that there were ample booze there as well. I just hope that nobody there said anything that they shouldn't have to you. No, not at all. If anything, I learned more about you. Everyone there had so many stories about how you climbed up the ranks of your company. Well, I wish that wouldn't brag about me to you. Now it sounds like I set this whole thing up. You should know that it's all good things when you get this old, though. My knees hurt all the time, and I keep thinking about retirement. I guess that must make me sound like a negative person, though, huh? You really think so? I think that's a perfectly fair opinion to hold. You've been through so much, and you deserve to have a rest, of course. Well, either way, I'm just glad that you enjoyed yourself and getting to meet some of my friends. Yes, and please tell them that I had a lovely time getting to meet and talk to them. By the way, is it true that you are going to host something similar next month with a younger crowd? Well, I'm not going to be hosting it, but my company is arranging to throw that event, yes. But I won't be attending. Oh, I see. Well, do you mind if I ask why not? Well, it's just that... How can I put this? Well, you said so yourself that there are going to be younger people there, and the thing is that I've heard those type of events turn into giant mixers with everyone looking for a date for the night, basically. And that includes people going after those in relationships or those who are married as well. Oh, I see. I guess since everyone is so young and successful there must be a lot of overconfidence, huh? I mean, I'm certainly not trying to talk about everyone who goes to this thing, but it's just what I've heard from those who have gone. So, I just don't think it's good to go by yourself as a woman if you have a family or anything. But I had such a blast at this last party that I would love to go to this one as well. Please, can you send me an invitation? Well, it is true that you were quite popular here. Also, random question, but where did you get your bag? It looks really high-end. Oh, do you think so? I think of myself as a bit of frugal, so I try to avoid shopping at fancy brands. But I thought that I had to look my best for your party, so I took out the nicest one that I had. Actually, I was saving up a few months in advance of the party just to buy it. You mean that you really bought that bag with all your own money? That's amazing. Well, I think it's really important to be able to afford to take care of yourself. And if I take care of the bag, then I should be able to use it for the rest of my life. And it really is such a nice one. You picked one with such a classic design. I'm sure it will never go out of style. But next time, you should make my son buy you something like that. After all, he is going to be your husband. I will tell him you said that. You really are a good girl, do you know that? Anyways, if you ever have any problems with Terry, you let me know. By the way, I hear that you're still hard at work getting ready for the wedding. Please let me know if there is any way that I can help. Thank you so much for the offer, Irene. I promise that if I need anything, you will be the first to know.
Hey, Mom, do you have a minute to talk to me really quick?
Oh, son, what a surprise. I was just about to sit down and eat lunch, so I can talk. Actually, you are more than welcome to come and meet me at the restaurant where I'm at now. They know me here, so they don't care if I wait here for a while.
No, I'm not going to do that. Thanks, though. I just wanted to let you know that, well, I don't think I'm going to try and see you as much as I can after this.
I'm sorry, what? I don't understand. Are you saying that you're going to try and avoid me?
Mom, please, don't pretend like you don't know what this is about. I mean, you do realize what you've done, right?
Son, what on earth are you talking about? I promise you that I have no idea what this could be about, but I would greatly appreciate it if you could tell me.
It's about Julia, Mom. I know that you've been bullying her in private. And that's why I'm sorry to say, but you are officially uninvited from our wedding. Please, just stay away from us.
Hold on a second. What is this all about, Terry?
Are you really still going to pretend like you have no clue what I'm talking about?
Well, I just mean that I thought you weren't going to be having a wedding at all. I don't get why you're reaching out to tell me not to come.
Well, now I'm confused. Because not only are you still not admitting to bullying Julia, but now you're talking as if I'm not going to have a wedding? You are really starting to upset me now.
I have to say, though, I am just really, really disappointed in Julia.
You don't get to be disappointed with my wife. I'm the one who's disappointed with you. What makes you even think you get to say that about my fiancé?
Terry, please, you have to calm down and listen to what I have to say.
You really think that I can calm down right now? You were bullying my wife behind my back. You know I really respected you. You climbed up the company rank of Dad's company, and when he died, you took it over with grace. But I never knew that you had this darker side of you.
Well, that's because I don't, and I never did anything to Julia.
How can you sit still casually texting me lies like that? I know that you were trying to tell her to leave me.
Well, I can see how it might look bad if that's your only piece of context, but the truth is very different. How about you stop by my office on your way home, and I'll explain everything to you. I know that Julia is telling you all of this now, but things aren't quite as they appear to be. Irene, are you there? How could you do this to me? What kind of lies were you telling Terry? Lies? I haven't told him any lies at all. Just the truth about you. Why are you trying to ruin our happy lives together, huh? Did you know that Terry left the house today? I think it might be for good this time. Well, if that's what he wanted to do, then I really don't see what I'm supposed to do about it. But I suppose I can't blame him after he found out the truth about what you've been doing. But I haven't been doing anything at all. You don't know what you're talking about. I know that you told him that Oral and I had some kind of thing going on with each other, but it isn't true. And when I went to his house after the party, it was only because he said he wanted to recommend me some books. But you just went ahead about that and made assumptions, didn't you? How dare you try and accuse me of cheating on my husband when you have no proof of anything? You know very well that I warned you about the kind of people who go to the party you went to. And Orwell is one of the worst of them. After all, he's young and handsome and smart, and worst of all, he knows that he's all of those things. He's known around the town as a womanizer, but did you know that he's also married? I am telling you that things aren't like that between us at all, okay? But even though he is married, he is always showing up to galas and parties with cute young things on his arm. You mean I'm not the only girl that he's done this with? Did you really think that you were special to him? But I didn't know. I thought that he wanted to be with me for me. Please, you have to tell Terry that this is all just one big misunderstanding. We're supposed to be getting married soon. You have to set this right for me. You didn't listen to my warnings, and now you want me to bail you out of this. Is that right? Besides, like I said, this was my son's decision, and I won't take responsibility for his actions. But I mean, you have to. You were the one that told him Oral and I were having an affair together. There you go again, trying to pretend like you two didn't. You know, I've already talked to Orwell about this, and he came clean to me about all of it. But he told me that you were just one of the girls that he's seeing. He told me that he certainly had no clue that he was sleeping with my son's fiancée. But he really isn't like that. Please, you've got this all wrong, I swear. Oh, please. He even showed me the messages that you two had been sending to each other. Just how long are you going to lie to me, huh? Besides, I finally realized where I saw you from. You had attended another one of those parties as someone else's +1, didn't you? But that was while you were still dating my son. It really isn't like that at all, I swear. Why don't you believe me? Do you know why Orwell was so taken up with you? It's because he likes what he can't have. He doesn't care if he sleeps with married or engaged women. So the moment that he found out that you were engaged, he didn't even bother checking to who it might have been. He just knew that he had to have you then and there. It really isn't like that at all. I just want to be with Terry, I swear. I didn't want to go home with Orwell, I promise. Oh my gosh, just who are you trying to fool here? Why on earth do you think that I'm going to believe a word that you say? Can't you just be an adult and own up to your own actions? Is that really so much to ask for? Irene, I'm so sorry for all of this. I promise that I'll never betray your son like this again. You have my word. I'll block Orwell and everything and never talk to him again as long as I live. Just please, help me fix things with Terry. For the last time, that isn't up to me. It is up to my son. Well, could you talk to him? You could convince him to get back together with me, right? He's not answering any of my calls at all. Just stop it already. If he doesn't want to talk to you, then that should tell you everything that you need to know. I seriously doubt that you have any intention of seriously being with my son. But now that we have proof of just what a little rat you are, we can cut you out of our lives without a second thought. Please, I promise that I can change. I will change, I swear. Just please tell Terry to talk to me. I am not going to do that. I'm not going to try and expose my son to more pain and manipulation by you. I know that I made a mistake, but you have to believe me when I say that I never wanted things to go this way. I swear that I'll apologize to him for everything if you just tell him to call me. You really just don't get it at all, do you? I'm trying to tell you that it is not my choice to make for my son. He deserved to know the truth, and that's why I told him about you and Orwell. But whatever he chooses to do with that information is entirely up to him. After that, Terry confronts Julia about everything, and the whole conversation resulted in him serving her with divorce papers. She cried and begged my son not to leave her, but he had made up his mind, and nothing was going to change it. Julia begged him for a second chance, but he simply wasn't interested at all. I don't think she quite realized just the shock learning the truth had dealt to my poor son. Of course, I also felt awful being the one who had to tell him the horrible truth of what his fiancée was going behind his back. Although, I think he had a sense of what was going on before I even showed him any of the evidence I'd collected from Orwell. I think just saying his name alone was enough for Terry to put together what was going on between his wife and him. After all, I had already told Terry exactly the kinds of things that went on at those parties and the kind of reputation that a man like Orwell had. But at least the proof was enough to silence any of Julia's protest about the affair not being true. Not to mention, it gave Terry all the proof he needed to sue the two of them for their affair with each other. Julia came back to me to beg for help once again, but I was in no mood to change my mind. After the divorce, Julia tried to go back home to live with her parents, but they were so ashamed of what she had done. They kicked her out of the house and told her that they would be writing her out of their will. That was when Julia really flipped and ran all the way to Orwell's house. There, he told his wife all about the kind of man her husband was. But all that resulted in was both Orwell and Julia being sued once again, except this time by Orwell's wife. After that, I never saw Orwell ever again. Unless I heard, he fled town and tried to build a new life in a new state where no one would know about his reputation. Of course, with so much debt from the legal fees, I doubt he has the same kind of appeal that he used to have with women. Julia also packed her bags and left town when she realized that not even her parents were going to support her after what she had done to my son. I imagine that she's probably living in some tiny apartment, working multiple jobs just to get by, all the while trying to pay down her own debt from her lawsuits. I thought that this would have crushed my poor Terry, but I guess I just didn't realize how resilient he really is. He started going to therapy to deal with what had happened to him, and he appears to be doing better than ever. He was thankful to me for not holding back the truth from him, but I just told him that he had a right to know. Now, he is focusing on himself and his career as he does his best to get over one of the worst betrayals of his life. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.